And those are not answered questions for anybody here. It's just that we have to come to terms with our kids and with whatever. And I don't know if yours are still coming down or what you're going to do, but
and maybe they are, maybe we bring those questions here. I just hit the recording just sort of at the end of that. So for Kate, we're just talking about how do you navigate and how do you make plans in this world and this, you know, how do you? And Amy's not coming. But instead of Amy, Rachel's coming.
From Louisiana?
Yeah, with her family of 5. And then because Rachel's coming, Jenny's coming. Well, Jenny's the stepdaughter we don't even have a relationship with, but she had a baby a couple of years ago. And so now she wants a grandpa. So she's a day or 2 before Rachel. So they're overlapping and then she'll leave and then Rachel. And I'm like,
how do I do it? You know, how do I?
And then in September, I'm going to do Karen's middle son's wedding. So I'm going to go to Colorado Springs to do that. And I have a ticket bought, but we'll see. We'll, you know.
Yeah.
And now, this is just me whining. I should have never started this recording. Danielle texted the other night. She goes, okay, I bought a ticket. Well, she's having some foot surgery, so she's been wanting to come here in September, but now she's coming. So Rob can't go to the wedding, which he said he's okay with that. But then I looked at her ticket and she's staying 2 whole weeks.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm a 3-day person.
Yeah, right.
My dad had a saying for that, you know, fish and guest or something like that.
So you just kind of go, and she's a flight attendant, so she is somewhere, and so far safe. And then my sister and I were talking about how when the AIDS thing just popped up and everybody was so scared about how they can get it, that maybe what'll happen over time is that we'll figure out that it's actually not, even though what we're seeing is it looks extremely contagious and very dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, I've had to make peace with the fact of this. When you're in a hot zone, and we're more so than Arkansas, you know.
Well, yeah, but for our population, we hit over 1,000 the other day.
Oh gosh. Okay. I see. We don't see all the numbers of some of the other states around, but it's
Arizona, Arkansas, Florida. Arkansas is right in there with Texas.
And here's the deal. You know, we know. I mean, it's hard for us to go back and say, oh, we're like March. Everything we did in March, April, and May. A big portions of that have to be done over. Maybe I don't think they're going to shutdowns, but big portions, just so we can do what we talked about then, was to bend the curve so that, and the more we do it, I keep thinking then maybe November, Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm looking at vacation rentals, I'm dreaming. And you have to, because it's like we want to lean into looking forward to something, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not just even travel for the sake of travel, it's connecting with those of us that don't have family right around us. And anyway, that's learning to navigate. And I liked how we worked last time a little bit about working with the energy of whatever's going on, not to give it more power than it needs to, because it can grip you. And what was your thing you had yesterday about stop it? And I listened to one of your videos, it's like, just stop it. Just stop with that thinking and don't let that run.
So here's a piece that I've been coming aware of. Maybe we can play with this a little bit, or we'll play with whatever we play with. But I had the realization, and I've been doing Panache Desai's morning meditations most mornings. And a few years ago, I spent a weekend with him, and I have an absolute love, disinterest relationship with him and his work. On one hand, I'm like, this is so aligned with what we do, with what we have been doing for a decade. On the other hand, I'm like, what? So, but anyway, I've been doing his, and so he's been doing this series. Well, when the pandemic started, he started doing a free 8 o'clock in the morning Central Time call to calm meditation, 21 minutes every morning, live. And then he started for like 10 or 15 or 30 minutes before that, just if you pop on and he just does this, he just sort of talks to himself. But sometimes, often those are really, really good. And sometimes they're about chipmunks and unicorns. And he's just chatting. So he's been talking a lot about safety. So like soul, like body, mind, heart, soul safety. And what I'm taking from what he says, and I have to say it like that because I don't always listen to what he says, but I let it permeate in me. That sounds horrible. I don't always listen to what he says, but I take it in. I try to, anyway. He's been talking about we can't get from where we are to where we want to be without coming into that place of safety. Mm. And once we land in that place of safety, then we get to process. And this is all the stuff that we've been working on. Anything that we carry in us, unconsciously, we have to process through. So he's talked about shame, he's talked about grief, he's talked about all kinds of different things. And his work is very similar to Charles's. It's like living breath awareness and let it, look at it, acknowledge that it's there, and let it be. Because our sense of anything other than safety comes from our resistance to it. So it's this whole, like, what else can we drop resistance to, which brings us right back around to surrender. It's all about surrender, right? What is. Not victim to what is, but quit fighting what is so that you can land in that point. We call it the still point. Panache is calling it that point of safety. But land there, and then from that place, then we do what we do, right? Then we lift and expand and do all that. But it was so great. The last week or two, he started to use the words like spiritual bypass. I'm like, now you're talking my language.
Uh-huh.
So, but Nancy, that was moving in you, that safety, that word safety was moving in you. So.
Yeah, that resonates. And you know, I don't even want to say it's like fear of whatever. It's more. And I'm not just saying this, make me selfless. I'm more concerned about people that I may inadvertently invite in or come and you don't want to endanger somebody else. Can I just say that? It's enough to take on things yourself. But you just don't want to add to, I don't want to do short-term needs, short-term self-gratification. Does that make sense? When two more, whatever. And that's just, you know what, here, and like you said on one of your tapes this week, and I listened to part of one, it's like it's to remember that when we're in that space that we can't solve it from where we are right here. There is no fixing or solution. So thank you for that. But to come back into that still point, which is a safe is as good as to say it's home. It's a safe place to be within, and just let it unfold. Quit trying to figure it out. I think that was what you said. Quit trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I was doing one about you quit figuring it out. And somebody goes, I've been using that phrase. I said, so have I, but I got it different.
Yeah, it helped me to hear that. So,
but the other thing, because my sister and I are talking about too, she's like, I hope I didn't bring anything, and I don't feel that great right this minute. So I'm like, oh God, what if, and oh, my throat hurts, and I'm tired. And it's like, stop, but not from a place of resist. It's just like interrupt and go, oh yeah, but what's wholeness? Oh yeah, but what's wholeness? And all we can do is the best we can do in any given moment, but we also can't control anything. We have no control over anything. I mean, nothing. And, we've worked a lot. Kate doesn't know, but the three of us have worked on that, or I think, or at least I had huge amounts of that, when we were in Joshua Tree and doing that level of work. And it's like, yeah. So even that, yes, I don't want to, I would be horrified if I ended up being a carrier and gave it to somebody. Horrified, but I can't control that either, except for by staying home.
Right.
So maybe I can't. I mean, I have my choices, but then we don't want to live. Yeah, it's interesting because we don't want to live in fear, but we want to live conscious.
Yeah.
To the greatest wisdom that we have in any given moment, which says, just tear up the calendar of 2020. Relax. Know that maybe maybe in January we'll get to come out. And maybe our hair will, all of us, maybe Steve's hair will be down to his waist by then,
And mine will be completely
To his
it'll be longer
belly.
and lighter and
and then once yours works its way all the way through, you won't ever have to cut it again either, you know?
yeah, this is a whole different time of freedom coming in. That's a good point. And you're right. It actually is it's easier to sit in this space. I hate, in some ways it's hard not to have family around. It's almost easy to not have family around in some ways because
Exactly.
we're not tested with them wanting to come over or bring a friend or whatever the storyline that I've seen my friends going through. So, I'll move back to that one and say there will be, take a breath. Just take a breath.
Just take a breath.
Take a breath.
I mean, in the first month, we're like loving our breath, right?
Yes.
And now we're like, I'm bored. Let me out.
And it's not like I even feel like I'm chomping on the bit to come out. It really all falls around the kids. And I just need to take a breath around that. And it's all good. I feel like this, I honestly feel, can I just share real quick? And I know I'm rambling on here, but I feel like I'm flipping into, I don't know what the next is, but I'm not a big celebrate birthday girl, but yesterday was
Yeah,
lovely.
happy birthday, by the way. Happy
Thank you very much. You did that. It was very simple. Steve, first thing was singing to me before I got out of bed. And I sat there for a minute. And probably in the past, I might have gone, oh, seriously. And my first thought was, I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to feel, I'm going to enjoy that. And then the whole day went on simply with simple connections and stuff coming through. And I felt myself going, oh, if we just didn't get hung up on calling it a year or whatever, I said, I really feel like today, I can feel that opening, not even, I started to say leaning into the next, it's still not leaning into the next. So I guess it's that opening, that things are actually moving, and it felt solid and safe. There's a good things to come back. It felt solid, and that felt solid and safe, and with no name to fit it. Does that make sense?
Right. But
so
you had experience in your body in that moment.
So it's very interesting. You can pull yourself out by going, oh, whatever my wah is of the moment, and then come back and I go, if I weren't trying to do a timeline with the kids' needs, I'm in a great spot again. Not that I don't have much, but I just felt it yesterday. I just felt something bloom. Maybe it's all your flower pictures. For God's sake, I just feel like stuff is blooming inside. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, but I think too, I think that's, I see deer. 1, 2, 3.
Cool.
I don't see the fourth one. There he is. There's the 4 of them. Ah.
Fun.
Eliza, ask me how many links I send to Hot Springs Village to Steve. We send back and forth on a regular basis on houses that are for sale.
How many?
A lot.
A lot.
There's some really nice stuff out again right now. So
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're really enjoying it right now again too.
Yeah.
We almost always do, but like you said, we are in a really sweet spot. We are in this little pocket, and we don't have that many cases right here in Hot Springs or Hot Springs Village, and at least not that we're aware of. But sometimes they go by counties, and our counties are not hot spots, so to speak. And, you know, we have all this beauty and this nature,
Mhm.
you know? Anyway, I was going to say one more thing about what you were saying, and that was, I think really like giving ourselves permission to, if we're whiny, to be whiny. If we're missing our kids, to miss our kids, because, and that's really tying back to really what Panache has been doing, you know, like don't deny anything. Don't resist anything. If you're feeling shame or fear or guilt or grief or whatever, just feel it. And we know, we've been talking about this for 20 years probably. The more that we can just allow any of that to just flow, and you name it, it's so counter unity really, but it's so powerful. Just name it. Oh, I'm aware that I am feeling grief, or I'm aware that oh, I got triggered by fear. Oh man, I'm like oh, my throat's kind of weird. Like, you know, in the past I would have been like, no, my throat's fine, my throat's fine, my throat's fine. Now I'm like, oh, my throat feels really weird. Huh, okay. But when I breathe into it, then it softens. So then we're back to that whole softening, as opposed, which is expanding, as opposed to contracting, which is resisting.
Good point.
So there we have it. We've solved the world. And by the way, how do you feel about Thailand?
For what?
Let's see.
For our
Actually,
first
they're supposed
global
to-
retreat.
Oh, jeez. I just
What's-
worked my way back up to New Zealand.
I know, but we can't get in New Zealand.
Oh, yeah, they don't want us. Hey, Thailand had a pretty good rate of dealing, last I read, dealing with this whole, I don't know if it'd be nice on who wants us. I've never thought about Thailand. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Better than Vietnam.
Well, you won't do that. You don't have to
Yeah.
do that.
Vietnam's
It's
supposed to be an
fun.
absolute beautiful, like it, but we have such, it's just wonky, isn't it, to go to Vietnam?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I have 3 places for our next retreat. One is right here in, not far from me, here in Hot Springs, and it's right on the Lake Ouachita, but on the other side of the lake from where I go. And it's got little cabins. It's so sweet. So that's an easy one. Sedona, I keep finding places in Sedona, not like the little cabin we're in, but nicer.
Yeah. We can upscale a little from that.
Yeah, we'll upscale. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this girl that's in my global group, her name's Hillary, and she's been around, and I like her, really like her, but I don't know anything about her really, except for she works for these big government agencies in innovation or some like really cool far out there thing. And then she did a post the other day, and it's like, let's just post our links. And she posted this link of where she lives that is a retreat center in the south of France. It's like,
Wow.
and she's got room. You could have probably 12 people there in either, you know, like the 2 of you sharing a room, but not sharing beds. Well, we probably have the 2 of you share a bed, but you know, enough rooms and a pool, and I'll do catering. Oh my God. I'm like, Hillary,
Wow.
there. She's like, anytime you want to come, get on the calendar. I'm like, farm in Norway, it doesn't have big retreat places. And then I joined this retreat thing. We are really chatting today. Kate, we'll get to work, promise.
Yeah. No, this is, okay, are you kidding me? This gives me
This is
something
work.
to get excited.
This
and
is
start
work, yeah.
Putting stuff aside for, you know, right?
And then in January, I joined this. I mentioned it because, but it was something about destination retreats. I mean, I paid a fair amount of money. And so they, of course, their whole business is shut down. So but one of the people who's on staff there posts these places where they've had retreats.
Oh.
That are like, oh my God, this villa he posted that was in Thailand today. I'm like, is it? And reasonable.
All that, you know what?
Thailand has not actually been on my list either, but
You know what? I'm not, just because I didn't think it before, doesn't, it's like, okay, let's play in that. Let's play in that arena out there.
Yeah.
Well, I like Thai food.
You
Oh, there
love
we
Thai
go.
food.
There we go. Yeah.
So does Nancy.
Anyway, I'm adaptable. Anyway, something that's it. That's kind of, thank you. It's almost like, oh, something to look forward to, even with
Right?
unknown and undated. It's like, oh, something to look forward to.
Yeah. 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 They have an open group that is, I think it's open group that you can join, that where they post a lot of those villas and things. Do you want me to tag you? I'll tag you in one of those and see if you want,
Yeah,
Sure.
because they're just like so inspiring.
yeah, please.
On this again. We'll be doing.
Hmm.
Yeah. So Steve, what do you want to add or bring up or throw in?
Oh boy. Well, again, it's one of those days where I just like slammed the other computer shut, flung this one open, and said, let's dive in.
Well, thank God you have to dive in here and you can just shut that one down, right?
Right. So it's almost like it's just it's like taking a shower at the end of the day.
Ah,
I have to wash all this stuff off, and this is nice. Exactly.
yeah. Yeah. So maybe that's what we do, right? Maybe we step into some showers.
Yeah.
With my sister here, we're out a lot and it is really hot and humid this week. So we're showering 2 and 3 times a day. But it feels so good. Just come in and go.
I bet. We had sprinkler repair people here yesterday, and they had taken us on a tour once they'd done their fixes, just showing us. We were walking through these sprinkles of water, and it was 106 here yesterday. So the
Yeah.
water sprinklers felt really nice, So I hear
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah. All right. And then what did we say? We said, Nancy, when you and I were talking more, we said kind of where we could kind of go today. Maybe that whole looking forward. What was there something that seemed like we were going to focus? I had an idea to focus somewhere, but
Well, I think it was about, and I don't know if this is what you're remembering, but I had to self-correct. It wasn't about leaning into any of this and looking forward. It was seriously about working with that space that, as I hear it now, that wants to open up and bloom. That those ideas can come to be in. Come from and have their whatever the root. Your plants are just coming to mind so they can take root as opposed to making them happen. And last time I think a big word that we used was infused, or that was one of mine. And this just feels like letting it in, and it rather than infuse, it's like it's all fusing together into something. I love the unknown.
Steve, did you catch that?
Yeah.
Did you hear what she said?
You remember Joshua Tree first trip?
Who's this bearded stranger in my house?
All right, well, let's go do some work and see where we end up. Yeah, the other thing that popped into my mind was also just to release more resistance to anything. Resistance, I gotta write it down because I don't remember very much for very long. And control. All right, so, and we just really embrace Kate, all of our conversation. And so Kate, really come on in, and you are here with us. And Kate and I have a session later this week, so we'll be able to get caught up again too. So that's good. Not that there's anything to catch up from, but. All right, so let's just, whew. So we close our outer eyes. Let's spend a moment releasing, surrendering, letting go of control, noticing where there's any resistance, like peeling off the layers. What came to mind just then was like the artichoke, like working for the heart, right? Not like the onion so much, but the artichoke. And so just whatever is up for today, we know that the essence of who we are, we know that the new that we are is already within us. And so whatever has shown up in thought and emotion, in task, whatever, that might be covering that in any way, shape, or form, we just peel it off. I just feel like taking it right off my being. And just peel it away. Gentle, easy, just like dusting. Just gentle and easy. Any thought, any belief, any resistance to anything, peeling and peeling and peeling away. And as we've peeled so much away, we allow our awareness to just drop from the outer to the inner. From the mind to the body, from the body to the being, from the being to the essence of who we are. As we stand, as we find, as we land in that essence of who we are, deep in the core of our being, we allow it to come out to play. So we've peeled off heaviness or resistance, and we feel that essence, perhaps as a little child, perhaps as the little child within us, fully adult beings. And let's just go into those sprinklers like Steve was talking about, just stepping into that sprinkler. It's refreshing, it's cool, it's cleansing, it's fun. Feel the giggle of being sprayed by that sprinkler. It's cold. And feel just like when we were kids, or when we watched our kids or our grandkids play in those sprinklers. You step in and you run away, and you step in and you run away, and then you run all the way through. And you play on the outer where it lands back on the ground. Just feel that sprinkle as the sprinkle of new. It's the sprinkle of new and quantum beingness. So we often end with that sprinkles and glitter and crystalline and sparkles coming down on us. So today we really start there. And as we play in that sprinkler of the quantum, feel even more dust of our consciousness just being washed off. Grime from the day being washed off. And feel that inner being being lit up with joy, with innocence, with fun, with freedom. Cleansed, refreshed, open, laughter. And let's just allow that to expand into this spaciousness that allows everything and anything that is free, that is safe, that is rich with seeds of infinite potential, unlimited possibilities. Just feel that spaciousness moving through your body, through your space. Feel your arms expanding out, and the space around you is so vast and rich and filled with infinite. We bring the awareness of space into our physical bodies. So feel the space. If you have any tightness or any places in your physical that you're aware of, just bring a spaciousness there. Whether it's your knees or your hips or your belly or your head or your jaw or your heart, or your, doesn't matter, just bring a spaciousness and just feel that with our awareness of spaciousness, that spaciousness increases. And as we drop deeper, imagine coming into the spaciousness in a single cell in your being. Science tells us that a cell has 95% space. So just feel that spaciousness all the way down to the cells of your being expanding. And feeling the spaciousness in a single cell in the core of your being, becoming being, recognizing it as the exact same spaciousness of the universe. So pivot from one single cell or go through the portal into the spaciousness of the entire universe, far beyond our planet, far beyond our world, to the spaciousness of the quantum spaciousness of the universe. And then just turn that up a little bit and notice what you notice. And as you notice what you notice, allow any of it, all of it, an image, a sense, an idea, a feeling, and in the spaciousness of the spaciousness of the spaciousness of the universe, feel the order that is new humanity ordering itself, the order that brings this particular year on our planet into just a single dot in a great, grand, universal evolvement. And feel the spaciousness. And be the spaciousness. And in the spaciousness, notice that there is no resistance, only flow. No egoic thought, only oneness and allness in consciousness. Notice the feeling, how it expresses, how it feels to be completely surrendered into allness. To be absolutely in the right place at the right moment, being exactly who you're here to be without having to do anything different. And yet, through our being different, we create a new world. Feel what it feels like to be allness. Feel what it feels like to be flow. Feel what it feels like to be embodied as allness. To be embodied as spaciousness. Feel what it feels like to be new humanity, right here, right now. Where the old has fear and control and resistance and grief and guilt and shame. And the new is spacious and safety and flow and brilliance and freedom and joy. And as we land here and as we bask here, we also integrate here. So we begin to build the neural pathways for not only ourselves, but also for all of humanity. And we're building the bridge, that we're opening the doorway, that we're building the pathway through this work for all people, for our world, for our planet, for our universe. So we integrate through all aspects of our being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, through all dimensions of time and space, through all states of awareness and consciousness, from the new, as the new, embodied, empowered, infused, illumined, and we infuse and illumine and embody from this place of allness, bringing that and just settling it right down over our physical body, sitting in our chair on this call so that we integrate it right now into this now moment. Let this integration move into you, through you, as you. All the way through, down into the earth from your feet. Mm. Place one hand on your heart, the other hand on your lower belly, and just allow the integration to come into a word or a statement in order to fully embody it and also anchor it. Take a couple of deep breaths. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Mm. I heard I am cleansed, refreshed, renewed. I am new. Steve.
Well, running through the sprinklers was great fun.
It was, wasn't it? That was a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, totally refreshing, invigorating. Um, and at the same time, washing away any kind of distress. You know, I mean, I was gone for a while. So I don't know if I was playing the sprinklers that whole time or not, but
Beautiful.
and last week's word kept popping up again. There was, I don't remember who it was among us, but it came through for me for, we were talking about enthusiasm and we came up with enthusiasm, where you're infused. We were enthusiastic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool.
That came up again.
Enthusiastic. I wonder how you spell that. I'm trying to write it. Enthusiastic. That's awesome. Nancy?
I don't know that I'm hearing a phrase. It may come out, but and, you know, when you speak, you know how you say, you never know if you go on a divergent or where you go to follow anything, because we all go on our own journeys. But somehow I was getting the feel of when you were talking about the cell. I was a became a blood. My body became a blood cell, and I was aware that as it took time to elevate up a bit and go higher, as part of the universe, which was a really, because I probably always have really seen myself as still separate, and I let things infuse me or enmesh. But this one was almost like when a cell goes through your blood vessels and whatever. I felt like I was a part of coming into that view of what and words do this no service, but whatever is, it wasn't, it was moving up, but it wasn't looking out and over. It was like honestly realizing, I don't know, it was so weird. It was almost like encapsulated, but I was, and I thought, wow, this is one big cell. Then I could laugh, but I was a part of it and looking out and going, cells renew themselves. Cells renew themselves. We know we know that. We know that. And it was like coming to that somewhere in this space that you always lead us to, of looking out and realizing, and it could, you could laugh and say it almost sounded like a sci-fi movie, but it was like, I kept thinking, is there like a mothership that's going to be coming in here? And it wasn't a mothership. It was just all part of, in fact, it was like this galaxy and beyond, whatever beyond was. It was so vast that you could feel insignificant. But there was the realization that we were each invaluable. That each, and it took, almost that feeling like it almost takes as many as the blood cells in your body to do what we're trying to do. This isn't just a few humans on this earth tuning up. There is like a multitude of something that is working on this. That's evolving. It's not, it was just different. I don't know how else to say it. It wasn't any words. In fact, I kept jettisoning words when they come in. So, don't stop for that one. Don't stop for that one. So it's more the realization that there's so much more going on than I sometimes even want to pretend. But I'm trying. Pretend is a part of sometimes getting out of your way and moving up. There's something to it. But there is a lot, and there's a lot of help coming in right now, and it ain't just us. It's not just, I don't know where all it's coming from, but that's what I felt a part of.
Yeah, I agree. I just know. I love that you became I'm going to say it different than you, but that you became your blood cell, you became the blood cell, a blood cell of the universal whole.
Yes.
Like, what if we are blood cells? And then the other phrase you used, insignificant and yet invaluable.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my friends she's been using irrelevant.
Yeah.
Irrelevant a lot. Make it irrelevant.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm going to try and put some words on your experience, which is a little bit weird to try to do, but
I actually like the insignificant. I don't even know what I said part of that time. You need to.
Well, that's why we record.
That's why we record. But capturing insignificant but invaluable.
You said insignificant and yet invaluable.
It's the heart of what that whole thing was.
Yeah.
That's and the absolute knowing in a different way about not being alone in this endeavor, or not just the few that, and there's many. I mean, I understand, but you know what I mean? It was like immense indeed. And what is here to help do this and to aid this, whatever the word is. And it's more than just Earth. You know, there's stuff going on. It's this bigger than Earth. I, uh, that I have no idea what that means, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And if we get to spend 2020 in our homes, what a gift.
What a gift.
What a gift. And if we don't get to see our kids for a year, well, that sucks, but not really.
No, but you know what?
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
and I've been feeling this whole time, it's like this, all the work that we've done, all of our lifetimes, this moment in time is what we're here for. But not like walking through coronavirus and watching the breakdown of all of our systems. Not that, but like on a universal scale, sort of like what you experienced right then. It's like we are the blood cells of the new that are infusing the system. Now we have no control over any of that. All we have to do is just be. We don't have to do anything. Like there's nothing wrong. We're not broken. We don't even have to strive anymore. We just get to breathe and be. And that's what the universe needs. That's it. And then when we breathe and be, then we take action from that place. Right. But only if we want to, not because we have to or we should.
That, in fact, you can't, that's just not even in that space. Yeah.
It's not even there.
It's not there.
It's not even there, right?
Yeah.
And that's the part we've been saying language about for a long time, but we're starting to experience. It's like, oh my God, when you hear that other stuff that we're just simply calling old, it's not there. It's not that there's no room for it, but there's no room for it, but it is simply not there.
I think I hear that, you know, an old phrase is always to make it better. You know, oh my goodness, to make it better. That's not it. That's not what this is about either. It is so unknown. I have no idea what this shift is, or I don't know. Yeah.
And thank God, because if we had any idea, we'd try to control it, and we can't. So
We'd say,
like,
can we let this cup pass from us, and we're not a part of this kind of.
oh wait, I'm just a blood cell. I'm just doing.
Yeah.
Me.
I'm just out here hanging around, doing my thing, being my thing.
Right.
Okay.
And Steve's work is to play in the sprinkler as often as possible.
Well, I'm also an amateur student of etymology.
Yeah.
You know, like where do words come from and all.
Yeah.
And we had all these words like enthuse or infuse or transfuse. And I was looking at the root of that. And, well, I don't know how to pronounce it even, but it's like the root is Gheu, which is Gheu. But anyway, so basically it's to pour, to melt, to cast, or to pour out. So if you put the beginning part of that, like infuse, you're pouring into yourself, or you're transfusing, you're pouring out to, you're pouring across. Trans is across. So you're pouring across others and realities and what have you. And so it just caught my attention anyway. I'm sure there's something there to further explore, I guess, or not.
Yeah, very cool. Mm. I love you guys.
Can I just,
kiddo.
I'm glad we got to regurgitate what we did at the beginning, so that could be, as you work through, could be, you go beyond. So thank you.
Just look like little headlights.
Bye, Kate.
You have headlights? You
Isn't that
do.
what it looks? Isn't that what it looks
I
like?
have headlights?
Yeah, you have headlights. That's cool.
I don't know.
Antenna. Woo, woo, woo.
Nanu, nanu.
I did it. I hope I see you guys next week. Bye.
Oh my goodness.
Bye, kids.
All right. See you
I'm done.
guys.
Bye bye. Have a good evening.
Yep, you too. Bye.
Bye.